Hi all, happy Monday. We're starting our week off with a quick reading. I was pulled to do a reading about the divine feminine, divine masculine, kind of looking at us and our processes right now, what we've sort of been going through as a collective. It just felt a little heavy on the heart and wanted to share with others just some messages in case this resonated, in case it was helpful in any way. So please just take whatever feels applicable to you, either the masculine or the feminine. They're both intertwined, of course. And let's just see what we've got here. So this is really more in regards to our heart space. This is a lot of heart energy. You may have been feeling some shifting in that particular area, some clearing, a little bit more emotional than usual. And just knowing that sometimes that's part of our process of release as we're releasing whatever we've been holding on to all the way back since childhood. We're working with the energies that are going on around us right now. We're working with the pulse of the earth, the Schumann. We're working with the solar flares as well to kind of rid ourselves of what no longer serves and upgrade our heart space to being in this newer type of space, this newer loving space. Okay, so that being said, for the feminine, for the mind space, we have the 10 of Swords. This is a mental decision to walk away from what's no longer serving. 10 of Swords is really like, it's been done. It's been done for quite some time. It just took that final straw for the mental space to get to that place of deciding to finally move on, kind of leaving behind some of that major pain. This is a painful card, feminines. This is something, it's sort of like whatever you're walking away from was a big deal. Whatever you're moving on from was a big deal. And that could be mentally, emotionally, even physically moving on. But because we're dealing with swords, I feel like it is sort of like the decision has been made. Okay, and then we've got in the heart space, the Moon card. So in the heart space with this Moon card, there may be a feeling that like of confusion, almost as if looking through things through a foggy lens. Are we unsure of trusting our own hearts again, especially after going through a time like this? Are the paths ahead crystal clear? Not quite. Not right at this time. Has everyone in our lives that we were kind of putting energy into revealed their truest intentions? Possibly not yet at this moment in time. One thing with the Moon card is that things are not always as they seem. And also sort of this like time marker, right? So when we have the Moon card in a reading, it can mean maybe more will come to light after the next moon cycle. So we have a full moon coming up around the 26th of this month. I'm not positive of the date, but it's right around there. So maybe after that time period, a little bit more clarity in the heart space may be present, because right now it feels a little murky. The action card, I'm sorry feminines, we have the 3 of Swords card. So this is heartbreak. This doesn't always have to be relationships, like intimate partnerships. This can be friendships, this can be family. This can be like losing a dream and giving up on a dream, or something that was just very difficult, right? It's a time for mending, right? And so when this shows up in our action space as feminines, it's almost like I feel the universe acknowledging, it hurts. It hurts. And that's okay. And that's a space to be in. And that's all right. I like on this card how it could be viewed as parts of the heart being pulled, or it could be viewed as stitching it back together. So I'm choosing to view it as sort of stitching it back together, but that process is painful. Okay, and so for our masculine energy, which is within us and also external, right? It is what it is. There's no particular gender here. They're energies. The mental space is the 2 of Pentacles, so this is juggling 2 worlds, in my opinion. So juggling the spiritual world, the emotional world, the physical world, feeling like got a couple plates in the air that are spinning and unsure of exactly where to put one's energy. And so in that mental space, there's this feeling of like indecision, like how am I going to make all these things work? So it might be that there's some changes or some forks in the road, paths that can be taken, or people even showing up, and the mental energy is such that it's like, unsure of how this is all going to fit into the present life, kind of knowing that a change has to take place. We're in this like month of May. It's the month of 555s. There's just a lot of change going on, so it can feel like unstable ground, right? In the heart space for the masculine energy, we have the 5 of Wands. So this is training for battle. This is like sparring. So it could be very internal. It could be an internal battle. Generally more passion, creative related, because we're dealing with wands. So it could feel like internally, like, how am I going to bring into my life that which lights me up? How does it fit in? And kind of battling one's own ego on that, like, but what I've always known has worked well for me is a different direction, that sort of thing. It feels very push and pull within the heart space too. It also can speak to external energies having some type of an impact as well. In this card, there's like someone almost about to like step on somebody's neck to get ahead. So ensuring that the people around us are supporting us, and if they aren't, then allow them to go their path, so that you can gain that clarity on what to do within your own heart space, not allowing the opinions of others or that even that competitive energy to have an impact on moving forward in a loving relationship. So when I speak to that, it's almost like, well, because someone else is finally getting married, finally getting the house, finally doing this, that, the other thing, then I feel like I'm less than, and that's not the case. Right? It's everybody's on their own path. It unfolds how it's meant to unfold. And sometimes it can be in the opposite direction. It could be someone else who's living that single life that is really alluring or something like that. And so just tuning in and doing what feels right within our own hearts is what we're being asked to do there. Definitely, because our action space here is the 6 of Swords, which is a card of initiation. So all of this balancing, all of this internal sparring and battles and kind of knowing which energy is there in the corner to support you, which energy is actually helping you to learn your lessons right now, and which energy gets to go. That's all part of this initiation process that's occurring, okay? Yeah, look at the waters here. Waters are symbolic of emotions. They're very choppy, so it may feel really uncomfortable in this moment in time, but there's this need to surrender a bit. There's this need to allow oneself to be guided and supported by our hearts, letting them be our compass, inviting in our teams to guide and support us as well. So whatever your spiritual outlook is, whoever it is that is really in your corner in that sense, wherever that backbone of faith is within you, allowing that to pull you through these rocky times, pull you through these murky waters, and surrendering a bit to the divine in that sense. This is a card that is like the Jesus take the wheel card a little bit. It's like, I've been through it, done a lot, and now I'm ready to allow God, Source Creator, to help me along my path a bit. I will see the signs. I will have these knowings. I know I'll be guided to the people, places, and experiences that will serve in the highest and best good. So trusting in our faith there. What's being integrated between the two? So this is our internal integration as well as divine counterparts, what they're integrating to bring themselves into union with one another, is this concept of temperance, which is like an ultimate patience, which is a balancing of the shadow and the light. This is kind of like a really potent card. There's a lot here. There's a lot of alchemizing here that's going on, where it's sort of like waiting and being okay with that wait. It's not waiting with like bated breath. It's waiting and working at the same time, doing our own part, and patiently trusting that the universe has got our back. We have this work card in the heart space. So there's this focus on the spiritual work that we're doing. So this can be like the physical work that we're doing is a big part of our lives as well, making way for love to come into our lives, for our relationships to be present. But it could also be this focus on our own spiritual work, and maybe that's shifting at this time. Maybe there's a new modality that's helping you in this moment, or you're curious about it, so you're looking into it, or you're developing a new morning or nighttime ritual to assist you on your path. Sticking with that, being diligent with that, and knowing that when we put that type of focus into something, it really helps us to grow, especially in this beautiful heart space. the action card that's being integrated is the Emperor. And what I feel like here is that there's positive and less positive aspects to this card. The positive, we've got, all right, stepping up into the boss version of ourselves, stepping up into true true authority over our lives, like being the co-author of our lives, without having an authoritarian perspective on things. So, because sometimes the Emperor can be a bit controlling, right? And so we want to integrate some of that energy and understand better that we can control what we can, but not everything is in our hands. And to ensure that we're not using that type of energy to control energy around us or people around us or situations, right? So we want to be very fair. We can be strategic with our life, with our moves. We may keep some of our moves to ourselves while we're growing and healing. That's okay too. Just ensuring that we're treating everyone with fairness and coming from a place of integrity. The Emperor is the King of Kings, so he's mastered what the other 4 kings in the tarot have already mastered. So it's on every level, mentally, emotionally, physically, and creatively, mastered those elements within, so that he can put them into place where it almost looks easy. So there's some of that going on. I feel like a lot of us are stepping into a new role with our jobs, with our families, within our friend groups, where we're showing up in a different way. So just making sure we're coming from that place of integrity throughout it in entirety. That's kind of part of this integration. I pulled a card from Sacred Geometry for relationships, and we got Surrender. So this card's lovely. The artwork here is activating in itself, and so hopefully that will assist in helping us to kind of loosen the reins a bit and allow the divine to guide us. The card says the energy of surrender supports us to let go of illusionary control and yield to the flow of love and life. So there's definitely a go with the flow type of energy here, so I really like that for everybody. And I just felt pulled to do this reading because I can feel the heaviness in the heart spaces of the collective, and feel like maybe some of us get to know that we don't have to be constantly working, constantly driving, constantly focusing on and manifesting and creating love in our life, and allow for some of it to flow in. Because when we're in that yin state of receptivity, we're really allowing the divine to show up for us, right? So I just wanted to pull quickly from the Keepers of the Light, just to see if there's a particular Ascended Master that might stand out with a healing message for us as a whole, as a collective. So let's see who comes on out as we're speaking to this heart space. And in this moment, just blessing all hearts with pure unconditional love, easing minds. And we've got Mahavatar Babaji, soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things. So Mahavatar Babaji is like the Divine Father energy. And with this beautiful, loving energy, there's this mastery of compassion. And that comes through this element of peace and understanding. And so when we speak about connections between all things, it's sort of like seeing how beautifully interconnected all beings are, all experiences are, how even those painful experiences of the past and the times that we've put down boundaries and walked away, and even the times that we've sat in our own confusion, how all of those moments have led together, have woven together to create a new moment for us, have sort of been orchestrated in a sense. And so none of our reactions were wrong. They were all learning opportunities. And so we're growing and evolving, and our souls are expanding through that. So if it's painful, just note that's usually a sign that like a snake shedding our skin, our souls are evolving. And we're on our way to sort of alchemizing a new version of ourselves, and we're not doing that alone. I hope that this is helpful to you, wishing you grace and ease, joy and bliss in the many days ahead, and we'll be tuning in shortly. Have a good one.